The last time we saw the Browns playing football, they were playing against the Ravens. The next time we see the Browns playing football, they will play against the Ravens. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to pick this AFC North matchup. RC, who you got?
I have the Cleveland Browns. When you think back to the last time these two teams met, Lamar Jackson had 4 interceptions. He was confused with a lot of the coverage. They were making him read things in the drop. If it wasn't for huge plays between Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews late, the Cleveland Browns win that game. They've had a week off. They've had an opportunity to study the film. I expect them to pressure Lamar Jackson, run the football offensively, and use some of that home field dog pound action in the stands to help them win this game.
Yeah, the Browns know their playoff hopes are dwindling with a loss. They have basically a must-win on Sunday against Baltimore. The Titans come back from their bye and they face off against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to pick this Week 14 matchup. RC, the Titans have lost a couple of games to some unsuspecting opponents this year. Can the Jaguars pull off another upset of Tennessee?
You know, I'm picking the Tennessee Titans, but I think that this game will be closer than many people think it should be. The Tennessee Titans are a team that's extremely beat up. They aren't the team that started the season. They needed that bye week to try to get a little bit healthy, but I expect that Ryan Tannehill, this defense that finds ways to get pressure up front and make some plays on the back end, that they beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, but this won't be a blowout. The Titans will have to fight to get this win, but I believe that Mike Vrabel, his coaching is what puts them over the top, and they get the dub.
Of course, no Derrick Henry, still no A.J. Brown, and yet the Titans still seem to find a way to be competitive on most Sundays. The Raiders and Chiefs meet again after playing not too long ago, and the last time these two teams played, Patrick Mahomes looked like Patrick Mahomes. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to pick this one. RC, can the Chiefs complete the season sweep of the Las Vegas Raiders?
You know what? I believe they do. This was the Travis Kelce, I guess I got my swagger back game, and they need to find that again. If you look at the last 5 or 6 games for the Kansas City Chiefs, this offense has only played at an extremely high level versus the Las Vegas Raiders. It's that 3-deep Gus Bradley defense that we saw Patrick Mahomes pick apart. He's going to need to get some of that back. We saw some arguments on the sideline with Eric Bieniemy. They're obviously not happy with the way that they're producing offensively, and this is a game they need to find that again. But this team has been led by defense with Jones up front, Tyrann Mathieu on the back end, and linebackers running sideline to sideline. They need to see that again against the Raiders in order to get this W.
Yeah, during this 5-game winning streak, the Chiefs have the second best scoring defense in the NFL. The Saints and Jets can kind of be the Spider-Man meme, as both of them have dealt with plenty of offensive injuries this year. They play each other on Sunday. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to pick this game. RC, the Saints have lost 5 straight. Can they snap that streak against New York?
You know what? I believe that the Saints can, because even in losing 5 straight, this defense is still one of the better defenses in the NFL. And we know that the Jets have struggled against very good defenses. Even starting out well against the Philadelphia Eagles, we saw them wilt down the stretch. And no matter who the quarterback is for the New Orleans Saints, I expect them to play better against the Jets. I expect Sean Payton and his experience as a head coach to show up this weekend, and the Saints finally find a way to get back in the win column.
Yeah, the Saints have a pulse still in the NFC playoff picture, but a win on Sunday would really help them get back into the thick of it. Wasn't quite a guarantee, but Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy has plenty of confidence his team will win on Sunday against the Washington football team. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to figure out whether RC agrees. So, RC, will the Cowboys make good on Mike McCarthy's words?
Listen, it's not a guarantee for me, but I'm picking the Washington football team. This is a team that's played extremely well the last 4 weeks. The creativity that Jack Del Rio has shown defensively since losing Chase Young has been amazing to me. Landon Collins moving into the box, that kind of 3-safety defense, finding ways to get pressure, finding ways to stop the run. And offensively, Taylor Heinicke has found ways to make plays in critical football moments. I mean, he's kind of like a bootleg Tony Romo, maybe eventually more just like Tony Romo that we knew and loved. This is a dude that's finding ways to make plays, using his skill players in all the ways to put them in positions to succeed. And Ron Rivera has his team playing well, trying to head into the playoffs. And I expect them to get this win and narrow the lead between them and the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC East.
It would be just one game if Washington can, in fact, pull off the victory, as RC is forecasting. Things are getting interesting in the NFC East. A pair of 5-7 teams in the NFC South square off on Sunday. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to pick the Falcons and the Panthers in Week 14. RC, which team are you taking?
You know what? This is a very tough one. These teams are evenly matched because they're kind of evenly bad at some times. But I'm going to pick the Carolina Panthers. They've just lost offensive coordinator Joe Brady, so I expect them to add some new things. And there's no Christian McCaffrey, so they're going to have to lean on their quarterback, lean on their other skill players like DJ Moore. And this defense has to come up huge. I believe that they find a way to just edge out the Atlanta Falcons in this divisional matchup that will keep one of these teams in the wild card race. So this is a must win for both.
Yeah, first game for Jeff Nixon as the Panthers play caller replacing Joe Brady. We'll see how, if at all, that offense changes in Week 14. The Seahawks got back in the win column last week and look a little bit more like themselves. They now play the Houston Texans in Week 14. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to pick this matchup. It's going to be Davis Mills under center for Houston. RC, can they upset the Seattle Seahawks?
I don't believe they do. I'm picking the Seattle Seahawks. This is a team that had a huge win against a divisional rival last week, and they showed some stuff, right? They showed some competitiveness. They showed the heart of a champion, which some of the guys on that team already are. And we know that the Houston Texans are reeling. They're coming off of a terrible performance last week against the Indianapolis Colts, and I don't expect it to be the same, but I don't expect that they improve enough to be the Seattle Seahawks team that has to be feeling good about themselves after a huge win last week.
Yeah, the light is sort of just a flicker for Seattle right now in terms of playoff hope.
Right.
But a win on Sunday would maybe turn that into something slightly larger than a flicker if they can keep their playoff hopes alive. The Lions are undefeated in December. How about that? They now travel to Denver to play the Broncos in Week 14. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to pick this one. An impressive victory last Sunday. Can Detroit make it 2 in a row against the Broncos?
You know, I don't pick the Denver Broncos. This is a team that even going into last week, we thought had a chance against one of the league's best football teams. I think that this defense is playing at a high level. What you see in the back end of the secondary of the Denver Broncos going forward looks extremely good, and they'll find a way to run the football with Javonte Williams. Now, this game will be close because we know the Detroit Lions will fight to the very bitter end, which we saw last week. So we were all excited that the 0-16 Detroit Lions got to pop champagne and stay there all by themselves, but this will not be a win in the second week for the Detroit Lions. Broncos get a dub.
They surely do play hard. It may just be more of a Jimmy's and a Joe's situation right now for the Lions, but better days are ahead. The Los Angeles Chargers play host to the New York Giants on Sunday of Week 14. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to pick this matchup. RC, who are you taking in this one?
You know what? I'm taking the Chargers. Now, they're going to be missing some of their skill players and a couple of secondary players as well due to COVID. But when you look at what Justin Herbert can do, Austin Eckler coming off of a huge win against the Cincinnati Bengals and really not even knowing who's going to be quarterbacking for the New York Giants, I think that the Los Angeles Chargers have the edge. I think the Los Angeles Chargers are also fighting for wild card position, and they understand how important this game is for them, and we will see that play out on the scoreboard. Justin Herbert and the Los Angeles Chargers push forward toward the playoffs.
And if the Chargers are without some of their skilled players, the Giants can say, oh, we can relate to that because it's been so many injuries, not just this year, but last year as well. There's so many key offensive players for the G-Men. Got a fun one on Sunday in Cincinnati as the Bengals play host to the 49ers. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to pick this one. RC, an important matchup for two teams that are definitely in the respective playoff races. Who are you taking in this one?
I mean, I'm taking the Cincinnati Bengals, but this is going to be an extremely tough matchup. I think the Bengals are great at the skill positions. We've seen them be opportunistic defensively, but also we've watched the power run game of the San Francisco 49ers start to show up again, and this team become extremely competitive. Both of these teams need these wins after bad performances last week, but I think it's Joe Burrow and his leadership, the skilled players of the Cincinnati Bengals, and the urgency of the defense that get this team the win.
Yeah, the good news for the Bengals, as far as Joe Burrow is concerned, that pinky issue from last week will not prevent him from being on the field as they look to improve to 8-5 on the season. Perhaps the best game on the Sunday slate features the Tampa Bay Buccaneers hosting the Buffalo Bills. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to pick this one. RC, the Bills coming off of a tough loss, but a very good team. The Bucs sitting comfortably at 9-3 right now. Which team gets the edge on Sunday?
I think it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. When you look at the way that this team is playing offense, it's everything that we thought they'd be before the season. Leonard Fournette emerging as a force out of the backfield, Rob Gronkowski playing at the top of the tight end market, and also these wide receivers on the outside, and Evans and Godwin really playing good football and pushing it down the field. The Bills are way too one-dimensional, I feel, to exploit the defense of Todd Bowles and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they have been playing so well at home. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, just as we saw in 2020, keep ascending toward the playoffs.
It should be a really fun one between two teams who certainly have the ability to score a bunch of points in a hurry. The good news is the Bears get Justin Fields back under center. Tough task, though, on Sunday night against the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to pick this matchup for Week 14. RC, the Packers are the team that has been much better all season. Can they keep the good times rolling against Chicago?
I mean, this is Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers against the team that Aaron Rodgers owns and the Chicago Bears. And I expect Aaron Rodgers to own them once again. He said it early on in the season, making a huge run to win that game. And this team has only gotten better since then. Defensively, the Green Bay Packers are playing at an extremely high level. Also, we all know what Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon are in the backfield, and Devontae Adams is an absolute stud. That is too much for the Chicago Bears to overcome. The Green Bay Packers continue to keep the stronghold that they already have on the NFC North.
Yeah, and the Packers, with a win, would keep their chances of the #1 overall seed in the NFC at least in play going into Week 15. Man, the desert should be the perfect place to be on Monday night as the Arizona Cardinals host the Los Angeles Rams. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to pick the last matchup of Week 14. RC, Kyler Murray and the Cardinals took it to the Rams when they played earlier on this year. Can the Rams turn their fortunes around?
You know, I don't think so. I believe the Arizona Cardinals right now have the best resume in football, and they win this game again. There's so many weapons for Kyler Murray to choose from. We saw him show up last week in Chicago and not really miss a beat after recovering from that ankle injury. And the secondary of this defense has tackled at a very high level, and also the multiplicity that Vance Joseph uses in calling plays and the versatility of the staff of the defense has been amazing. I think that they win this game and further show that there will be a team to be reckoned with later on in January as much as they have been early in September.
And while it would technically not clinch the division, a win on Monday night for Arizona would all but assure them of an NFC West championship.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.